Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome back to an all-new Critical Reviews. Today on the segment we're going to be talking about part 2 of the Gamers Trilogy and the Gamers, Dorkness Rising. Lodge is the dungeon master of his group's Dungeons & Dragons game. He is trying to create the perfect module, but his group keeps failing at finishing the story he has created. To shake things up a bit, he adds a new, and I do mean new, player to the group. Now I've heard this before, but this movie is just like a bigger budget version of the first movie, for the most part. While it isn't exactly the same movie, there are a lot of similarities. Again, we get the players' actions being played out in silly fantasy-style sequences. Also, there is still arguments between the dungeon master and his players about what the players can and can't get away with. Where the movie is different is there is a story surrounding the game, other than the minimal one we got the first time around anyway. A few of the stories going on besides the game are these. Lodge is trying to create his ultimate module. Cass and Joanna are supposed to be exes, but they bicker like they're still together. Lodge seems to have a bit of a crush on Joanna, but that really doesn't go anywhere, and a few other stories. Now, is this movie as fun as the first one? Well, let me put it to you this way. Does rolling a 1 lead to a thief uncomfortably rubbing an orc's shoulders instead of backstabbing him? A lot of the fun from the first movie makes its way to this one. While some of the jokes are pretty similar to the ones of the first film, there's also some new fun to be had as well. One example is that one of the players is playing as a female character for the first time, so one of the other characters is now pretty excited because their two characters can now totally have sex. That same player's actor keeps changing to a guy dressed up as a girl to a real girl every time he remembers that, oh yeah, I'm playing as a female character. Kaz keeps trying to break the game by playing classes, races, and using weapons that don't belong in the game's world, like shotguns and chainsaws and even lightsabers. And no, I'm not kidding. Though there's not many, I do have a couple minor issues with this movie. The first would be its length. While I don't think it was too overly long, I missed the shorter runtime of the first movie. The reason I say this is the long runtime led to my only real issue of the movie. Some of the jokes are being used multiple times. Sure, they were still funny, but they were also sometimes a little less funny when you can see them coming. The last thing I want to mention is one of the Easter eggs that I really enjoyed. After the first major battle where Joanna's character put the experienced players to shame, there's some familiar music being played as the characters celebrate their victory.
Osric uses the staff on Flynn.
Sing it! Give it to me! Give it up! Oh, you can't because y'all dead! That's right! That is who takes improved initiative!
The theme being played, the Final Fantasy Victory theme music. I just thought that was a fun addition to the scene itself. So let me ask you this. Did you like the first Gamers? You're gonna like this one too. For the most part, it has everything you loved in the first movie. So if you had a good time watching the first movie, the second movie will be right up your alley for the most part. While maybe not as original and clever as the first film, it is still a solid and fun sequel to it. Also, like the first movie, if you want to see this one, it's not too hard to find on YouTube. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you've seen the Gamers Dorkness Rising, feel free to comment on down in the section below. Till next time, I'm Gino Reynolds from The Real Gino.